The cameras might have stopped rolling. But the whispers? They never did. Behind the glitter of love and hip-hop Atlanta, a storm is quietly building. A storm so fierce, it has fans frozen, clinging to every single update. Talk on the street says Spice and Scrappy have detonated a bombshell. One that could shatter Yandi and Mendeecees' marriage. Forever. The spotlight has shifted. No longer about music or fashion. Now it's about whispered arguments, hidden betrayals, and a love story dangling by the thinnest of threads. Picture it. Spice, fiery, unfiltered, and never afraid of the truth. Pulling out what she calls receipts. Dropping claims so sharp they slice straight through the image of loyalty Yandi and Mendes have spent years building. And Scrappy? Standing firm beside her. Adding weight to every word with the kind of conviction that makes people stop scrolling and start talking. But fans ask the real question. How much is genuine? And how much is just smoke, mirrors, and reality TV theater? Either way, the cracks are showing. And the whispers are no longer background noise. They're thunder. And the storm? It's only just beginning. The whispers started small. A faint hum in the background of Atlanta's nightlife. So faint, people ignored it. Shrugged it off. Until one night, the murmurs grew too loud to dismiss. Spice and Scrappy had reached their boiling point. And when they decided to speak, the air shifted. The quiet talk turned into shockwaves. Waves strong enough to make fans, friends, and rivals stop in their tracks. This wasn't just another petty reality TV spat. This was something darker, something heavier, a revelation that threatened to break apart one of the show's most unshakable couples. The stage was set at a late-night gathering. At first, laughter filled the room. Music blasted. Glasses clinked. But that warmth dissolved quickly. Conversations turned hushed. Eyes darted across the room. Accusations bubbled under the surface. Spice, bold and unafraid, cut straight through the noise. Her gaze locked on Mendeecees. The sharpness in her stare silenced the crowd instantly. You could feel the tension grip the air, thick and suffocating. Beside her, Scrappy shifted his weight, ready to jump in, ready to confirm every claim, ready to push the whispers into the spotlight. Friends stopped laughing. Phones came out. Cameras focused. This wasn't a party anymore. It was a battlefield, and the first shots had just been fired. The room fell into a suffocating silence, the kind that makes every heartbeat sound like a drum line. All eyes were on Spice. She wasn't laughing, she wasn't smiling. She was steady, her voice low but razor sharp. She leaned in, eyes locked on Mendeecees, and delivered the line that sliced through the night like glass. "Stop playing with me. Stop lying to your wife. You know exactly what I'm talking about," gasps erupted. Phones shook as hands scrambled to catch every second. This wasn't gossip anymore. This was confrontation, raw and unfiltered. Spice didn't just accuse. She claimed to have proof. She waved her phone in the air, teasing the crowd with messages, hints of screenshots, and names she wasn't afraid to drop. The weight of her words hit like bricks. She accused Mendes of stepping outside his marriage, of entertaining energy no married man should. And just when people thought it couldn't escalate further, Scrappy stepped up. His voice boomed over the chaos. He confirmed he'd seen things himself, heard conversations, and knew the truth wasn't in Mendes' favor. His presence gave Spice's words power. No longer was it one woman calling out betrayal. It was a united front. The crowd buzzed, torn between disbelief and shock. Some whispered that Spice was chasing drama, while others muttered, "She wouldn't risk it all if it wasn't true." Mendeecees stayed quiet, his jaw tight, his eyes refusing to meet Yandi's. And that silence? It spoke louder than anything. The party vibe had evaporated. This was war. Spice had fired the first cannonball. Scrappy had reinforced it with gunfire. And the couple at the center, Yandi and Mendeecees, were left standing on shaking ground, their empire cracking in real time. The blow-up wasn't just a scene. It was history being written. Yandi stood frozen. For a moment, she didn't breathe, didn't blink. The words from Spice cut so deep, it was as if the floor beneath her heels collapsed. Her hand clutched her chest, searching for steady ground that wasn't there. The whispers of the crowd blurred into a single ringing in her ears. She wasn't just a reality star at that moment. She was a wife, blindsided, humiliated, and stripped bare in front of flashing cameras. Her lips trembled as she tried to speak, but the words died in her throat. Every time she looked at Mendeecees, the silence between them screamed louder than anything Spice or Scrappy could say, fans watching. The leaked clips online would later describe her expression as a woman watching her entire world collapse in seconds. Unable to stay, Yandi turned. She moved through the crowd, brushing past curious stares and recording phones. Her eyes glistened, her voice cracking as she muttered, "Not here." "I can't do this here." Outside, she broke. Tears streaked her face under the night sky. Her sobs weren't for the cameras. They were raw, desperate, human. Friends rushed to her side, but Yandi pushed them away. This wasn't comfort she needed. It was answers. Inside, the chaos raged on. Outside, Yandi faced her own storm. Betrayal, shame, and the unbearable question echoing through her mind. Was it all a lie? That night, Atlanta witnessed the unmasking of a strong woman. Vulnerable, shattered, but far from finished. When the accusations landed, Mendeecees didn't lash out. He didn't yell, didn't defend, didn't even flinch. He stood stone-faced, arms folded, eyes fixed on the ground. That silence became its own language, a language fans rushed to decode. To some, it looked like guilt. A man caught, unable to muster a denial. To others, it seemed calculated. A strategy to starve the drama of oxygen, to avoid feeding the fire Spice had lit. Producers whispered that Mendeecees had already decided his move. Silence now, control the narrative later. By saying nothing, he avoided contradictions, avoided messy back and forths that could later be replayed against him. It was chess, not checkers. But silence comes at a cost. Viewers began filling the void themselves, twisting his blank expression into confessions. Memes popped up calling him the statue husband, frozen in guilt. And Yandi's tears beside his silence only made things worse. Every second he refused to speak felt like an unspoken admission. Was it discipline or deception? Strategy or surrender? Nobody could tell. And maybe that was the point. Within minutes, the confrontation left the party walls and detonated online. Clips ripped from shaky iPhones flooded Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. One angle showed Spice raising her phone, another captured Scrappy nodding behind her. The captions wrote themselves, "Receipts exposed" and "Mendeecees caught lacking." Hashtags trended almost instantly. "Our Spice said it," "Yandi deserves better," "Scrappy backs it up." Each one sparked debates that spread like wildfire. Fans dissected the footage frame by frame, zooming into Spice's phone, replaying Mendeecees' silence, and analyzing Yandi's tearful exit like it was courtroom evidence. Memes became their own storm. Mendeecees' frozen expression was pasted onto statues, mannequins, even video game characters. Yandi's breaking voice turned into heartbreaking edits over sad music, while Spice was crowned the truth queen in glittery TikTok edits. But not everyone agreed. A divide split the timeline. Half the internet praised Spice for exposing betrayal, calling her fearless for protecting Yandi from lies. The other half accused her of clout-chasing, manufacturing drama for camera time. Scrappy's involvement only stirred the pot further. Some saw him as a loyal ally to the truth. Others labeled him messy for backing claims that weren't his to tell. YouTubers jumped in with hour-long breakdowns. Podcasters promised inside sources. Even gossip blogs pieced together old interviews and resurfaced clips, trying to trace breadcrumbs of infidelity from years past. The confrontation wasn't just a party scandal anymore. It had become a digital spectacle, a storm where likes, retweets, and comments decided the narrative. And in that storm, one thing was clear. Silence no longer belonged to Mendeecees. It belonged to the internet. Mendeecees. It belonged to the internet. This wasn't the first clash between these cast members. Spice and Yandi had history, sharp exchanges at reunions, side-eyes at events, and long-standing tension about authenticity and loyalty. Spice often accused Yandi of being too polished, of hiding behind an image, while Yandi viewed Spice as reckless, willing to burn bridges for a headline. Add Mendeecees into the mix, and the tension thickened. His calm, measured personality contrasted with Spice's fiery energy, but beneath the surface, there was always suspicion. Spice had hinted before that things weren't as perfect as Yandi painted. This time she wasn't hinting, she was declaring. What made this blow-up hit harder was the pairing of voices. Spice wasn't alone. Scrappy, standing by her side, gave weight to her words. It wasn't just a fiery outburst, it was a coordinated takedown. And for Yandi and Mendes, who spent years carefully building their narrative as the power couple of the franchise, the accusations didn't just bruise their relationship. They struck at their brand, their image, their legacy within the show. This wasn't drama in isolation. It was the continuation of a rivalry years in the making. Behind the cameras, the chaos followed Yandi and Mendeecees home like a shadow that wouldn't fade. The silence between them stretched long and heavy, broken only by the muffled hum of social media updates buzzing on their phones. Yandi wanted answers. Direct, undeniable answers. But when she pressed, Mendeecees stayed guarded. His strategy of silence in public seeped into their private walls. Every pause, every unfinished sentence only deepened her suspicion. The children noticed the tension too, the sharp edges in their parents' voices, the way dinner conversations fell flat. Yandi's family members called non-stop, demanding to know if the rumors were true, urging her to protect herself, protect her image, protect the kids. Meanwhile, Mendeecees' side of the family pushed for calm. They told him not to fold under pressure, not to let Spice and Scrappy dictate his marriage. To them, silence wasn't guilt, it was strength. But for Yandi, the silence was torture. Inside their home, love and loyalty felt like strangers. Trust, once their strongest weapon, now hung by a thread. The fallout wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about survival, of their marriage, their family, and the empire they'd built together. Words. When the dust settled, the producers did what they do best. They sat the cast down in front of cameras and let the confessionals roll. And the emotions? They poured out raw, unfiltered, and unforgettable. Spice sat first, chin high, eyes blazing. I don't care who don't like it. I said what needed to be said. Yandi deserved the truth, and if Mendes can't be a man and own up, then I will. Her words carried no apology, only conviction. Scrappy's tone was calmer but firm. I'm not here to start mess, but I ain't gon' lie either. If I seen it, I seen it. And if Spice said it, trust me, it ain't pulled out of thin air. His support only cemented the storm further. Then came Yandi. Her confessional broke hearts. With mascara streaking down her cheeks, she whispered, "After everything we built, I feel like I don't even know who I married. I'm embarrassed, I'm hurt, and I just want the truth." Mendeecees finally spoke, his words careful, deliberate. "Everybody got their opinion, but that don't mean it's facts. I know my truth. I know what I do and what I don't. I'm not feeding lies. I'm protecting my peace." Other cast members added fuel. One shrugged. "That's Spice being Spice. She don't throw shade without a reason." Another smirked. "Yandi too perfect sometimes. Maybe this is the crack showing." Each confessional painted a different story. But together, they showed one thing clearly. The cast was divided and the feud wasn't dying down anytime soon. The drama was too big to fade quietly, and the producers knew it. They weren't going to let Spice's accusations live as one viral moment. They wanted escalation, fireworks, and face-to-face collisions. First came the infamous beach dinner, a setup that was supposed to be healing. The cast gathered under string lights, waves crashing in the background, glasses of wine on the table. But peace never stood a chance. The moment Spice and Yandi locked eyes, the energy snapped. Words flew across the table. Spice doubled down, insisting she wouldn't apologize for exposing lies. Yandi, shaking with fury, demanded receipts. Mendeecees sat tense, refusing to break his wall of silence, which only fueled Yandi's rage. Scrappy chimed in, backing Spice, and suddenly the table was chaos. Wine spilling, chairs screeching, cast members pulling each other apart. And just when the dust from that fiasco settled, producers pulled another card, the studio confrontation. Cameras rolled as Yandi arrived at a recording session only to find Spice and Scrappy already there. The tension was electric, and the argument reignited instantly. Insults flew, security hovered, and at one point Yandi stormed out, slamming the door so hard the sound echoed through the studio halls. These orchestrated encounters weren't about resolution. They were gasoline on an already blazing fire. The message was clear. This wasn't just drama anymore. This was the season's centerpiece, and no one was walking away unscathed. Outside the show, the feud exploded into a cultural wildfire. Gossip blogs plastered headlines like "Spice drops bomb on Yandi's marriage" and "Mendeecees silent while Scrappy backs receipts." Screenshots, rumors, and half-truths flooded timelines, with every outlet racing to spin its own version of events. Podcasters jumped in too, turning the drama into multi-hour deep dives. Some defended Spice as a truth-teller, praising her courage to say what others wouldn't. Others accused her of tearing down another Black woman for ratings. The debates were fierce, dividing listeners across generational and gender lines. YouTubers went further, editing breakdowns of the leaked clips, analyzing body language, zooming in on every expression. Suddenly, Mendeecees' silence wasn't just awkward. It was framed as evidence, dissected like a courtroom exhibit. Even mainstream pundits joined the conversation, debating whether reality TV stars owed fans honesty about their marriages, or whether this was another case of producers weaponizing pain for entertainment. What began as a party confrontation had spiraled into a culture war. It wasn't just about Yandi and Mendes anymore. It was about truth, loyalty, and how much of reality TV is truly real. As the credits near, the tension refuses to settle. Yandi's tearful face lingers in memory, Spice's voice echoes, and Mendeecees' silence still haunts the timeline. The air feels unfinished, as if the storm hasn't yet unleashed its full force. Questions remain. Did Spice really have airtight receipts? Or was this a masterstroke of reality TV theater? Why did Scrappy risk his own reputation to stand by her side? And most of all, what will Yandi do now that the cracks in her marriage have been exposed to the world? The cliffhanger isn't just about one couple's fate. It's about loyalty, betrayal, and the cost of silence. Fans are left dangling, hungry for resolution, but aware that in this world, answers are never simple. And so the call goes out, to the audience, to the fans, to the culture itself. Keep watching. Keep talking. Keep questioning. Because if this storm has proven anything, it's that the Harris dynasty of Atlanta isn't just surviving drama, it's rewriting it.